Good morning, iPhone development team. Have you decided on the dimensions for the iPhone 15 yet?
I don't know, Tim. I just can't decide.
Well, what is it? What's the problem?
I just can't make up my mind between doing 6.1 inches or 6.2 inches.
Okay, what's the big deal?
You'd be surprised, Tim. 0.1 inches can make a pretty substantial difference.
Gosh, okay, just do whatever's cheaper then.
Alright, I guess if we just keep using 6.1 inches, we can use our existing supplier.
Good, then just do that, then. Sheesh.
You know, I was just thinking if we did switch to 6.2 inches, it would be a lot easier to justify a price hike, but you know what? 6.1 inch works.
Well, now, hold on a minute. What were you just saying about a price hike?
Yeah, nothing. You know what? 6.1 inches is fine. We can just live with that. That's fine.
Ben, I want you to get back here right now.
It appears that Apple is taking a dump on all of us with these weird iPhone 15 leaks because the CAD designers for the case manufacturers and stuff, they ain't holding nothing back anymore. As soon as Apple gives them dimensions, they're just like, okay, mail them off to 9to5Mac, because 9to5Mac has gotten some exclusive CADs of what the regular iPhone 15 is supposed to look like, as well as information on new iPhone 15 colors. I gotta admit, this feels a bit early. I've been covering iPhone leaks for several years now, and I gotta admit, this is kind of bizarre, like, for the end of February to be getting this many leaks, especially about the colors of upcoming iPhones. It's usually not until around April or May until mass production starts, and that's usually when word gets around, but yeah, it appears there's a lot of prototyping leaks as well showing up on random Twitter accounts. Even though it looks pretty believable to me, and these are somewhat trustworthy sources, I think we should all still take it with an immense amount of salt. But the good news is it's like Chipotle salt, you know, it's lime, it's flavored. So even if it ends up not being true, it doesn't really set too many false expectations up, and all of it sounds somewhat believable to me. So for one, let's talk about the CADs of the regular iPhone 15. So the first big detail is that these CADs are pointing to the idea of a slightly improved display, probably rounding off the chassis a little bit more than the regular iPhone 14 models, but still not quite as thin a bezel as the iPhone 15 Pro is, which we've seen renders of earlier. And the chassis showcases the volume buttons being separated, unlike the 15 Pro, which had that little cutout for the buttons combined. So this reaffirms Ming-Chi Kuo's report that only the Pro series would be getting solid state buttons and the regular iPhone 15s would be getting tactile buttons. So honestly, the more I think about it, for the everyday person, the regular iPhone 15 might actually not be that terrible of a deal compared to the regular iPhone 14, which I basically don't think anybody should get. But yeah, of course, Dynamic Island is being seen on these leaked images as well. So regular buttons, we don't have to worry about weird dynamic volume rocker or 3D volume rocker that changes depending on how hard you push it. Sounds like a weird solution that doesn't have a problem for the 15 Pro series, but if you don't care about all of those tech specy things, regular iPhone 15 has traditional buttons, but it gets the Dynamic Island, which provides lots of live and real-time updates and allows you to have Face ID kind of out of the way, which is nice. And still, of course, on these reports, USB-C, which some of you may think that's a tech specy request, but I don't actually think it is. I think there's nothing nerdy or geeky about someone not wanting to have to keep around several cables, one for their phone, one for their iPad, one for their laptop. It's honestly a very everyday consumer type thing to just have one cable, or just expect to have one charger, or at least one type of cable that can charge whatever. You want to charge your iPad with your phone charger, or charge your iPhone with your iPad charger. I think you should be able to. So yes, the USB-C port on the regular iPhone 15 is rumored to be of a slower speed, potentially just as slow as the Lightning connector is, but for the non-techies out there, I don't think that's a big deal, because most everyday consumers aren't transmitting that much data between their phone or their computer, or between phones, just doing it via a port on the bottom. You know, those people are more likely to just do everything wirelessly and just stream everything over the internet. So I'm still just happy that even with all of these updated CAD renders and everything, they're still saying regular iPhone 15 is getting USB-C, still an improvement, still a win in my book. And based on the polls that I've been running both on YouTube and Twitter, it definitely feels like the bigger the screen, the better, even though I may die by the sword with the 5.4-inch iPhone mini, or me in love with my 5.8-inch iPhone 10. You know, seeing how many people vote for the 6.7-inch screen size, it kind of makes sense why Apple just wants these screens to get bigger and bigger, because that's what convinces people to buy new phones. And I guess that means we might get a slight screen size increase with the regular iPhone 15. Let's just hope the price stays the same and Tim Cook doesn't get a little too ambitious on all of us. But in regards to the colors, this is one that has definitely sparked a lot of attention because for years and years and years, including me, we've been asking for Apple to bring product red to the Pro lineup. How come you've always had to buy the inferior hardware to get more color options, right? It doesn't make any sense. Why does the M2 MacBook Air get midnight but not the MacBook Pros? Why does the iPad 10, which is the worst iPad ever, get all of these beautiful color options but the iPad Pro only gets 2? I don't know. Apple must think that the Pros are more serious and don't like colors for some reason, but 9to5Mac's report is saying that the 15 Pro will finally come in a deep red color option instead of just another variant of baby blue or Pacific blue or midnight green. No hate towards Randy, but there's a lot of us diehards out there that love the color red. It's actually my favorite color, despite what the channel artwork may make you think. And these leaks are getting very specific too, giving us the exact hex code of what they think Apple's gonna do with it. And again, the Pros are rumored to make the switch to titanium, so it shouldn't really be that much of a glossy red, more of a deep matte red. And I've been shocked by how many comments I've seen of people saying, I will straight up upgrade simply because I want that red color so much. Then of course they'll buy a case and cover it up. But I guess that's why a lot of people buy those clear cases, so they can still show off the color and keep their phone protected. But honestly, it doesn't matter what color you get, because that clear case eventually is gonna turn yellow. So maybe that's why Apple has to go more on the deeper red. It'll eventually turn orange with your 5-year-old clear case. But if we're getting into personal preferences here, I gotta admit, looking at the renders and everything, it's not the kind of red I like personally. I'll probably get attacked for that, I apologize, but I'm more of like the deep product red, like super duper saturated. Like that's why I tend to go all in with a lot of my color options. You know, if I wanted the red Apple Watch, I want it to be the most red possible. I never liked the Pacific blue or Sierra blue colors. I never liked Starlight. I just wanted it to be dark as dark could be. If it was space black or I wanted piano black, that's why I used the jet black iPhone 7 Plus as soon as I could find one available. And that's why I switched to, back in the day, the product red iPhone 8 Plus. I just love really saturated colors, but according to what we've heard from sources familiar with suppliers, trying to get stainless steel to very vibrant, very saturated colors, like a deep red or a very bright blue, is very difficult for the anodization process, and it results in it being a lot more fragile and prone to scratching. So that's why the Pro iPhones have always resulted in more muted colors. You know, purple is naturally very dark, as is the midnight green and all that. But with titanium, maybe it's a similar type of process, but I feel like you should be able to go brighter red than this. But I don't know, maybe I'm alone in this way, and maybe lots of you prefer having this kind of deep crimson red, kind of matching the new Model Ys coming out of Giga Berlin. But what I was actually more excited for was in that same report, they mentioned that the regular iPhone 15s, you know, the ones that don't have ProMotion, those were going to be getting a very bright blue color and a hot pink, which honestly, that's kind of more my alley, like bubblegum flavors of iPhone 15. So honestly, the more I hear about the regular iPhone 15 models, obviously other than the lack of 120 hertz, which I'm a big fan of, and the fact that Apple's probably gonna go cheap with the USB-C ports, these entry-level 15s sound like increasingly more compelling to me. Getting hopefully a 48 megapixel sensor on the back so that you can have that 2x button return in the camera settings. You're getting a slightly larger 6.2 inch screen size. You're getting more vibrant color options. Honestly, all the regular iPhone 14 color options sucked last year in my view. I didn't really care for any of them. So let's see how much these rumors and leaks change as the year goes on, as people start to realize, actually, we don't know what we're talking about. But with more and more exclusive news drops coming from these new Twitter users and from 9to5Mac, there's definitely gonna be a credibility hit if all of this stuff ends up not being true. But in my view, changing the port of the iPhone has only happened once in history, so if it happens again this year, that's still a pretty freaking big deal. And the dynamic island and the cool color options or the thinner bezels is all just like toppings, you know, it's all just whipped cream and sprinkles to me. I'm excited to see it, and I hope that at least some of these reports end up being accurate. Does it sound believable to you guys for Apple to finally go red with the Pro iPhones? Do you think Apple would be as bold to go like hot pink, kind of like the old iPod days with regular iPhone 15s, or do you think that's a little too confident? Feel free to let me know down in the comments below, and thank you to everybody supporting this channel directly. It seriously helps us out a ton, as does just watching these videos, so thanks again. This is your Apple Sheep here, and I'll see you all in the next one.